Our Renman Music and Business member, Johnny Flood, has a question. He goes, well, what advice would you have for a guy who is shit scared to walk up and chat to the right people when I'm often so intimidated to pitch? Well, turns out here our friend Johnny has a problem with stuttering, and as I just proved right there, Johnny, you're not the only guy that steps on your words here, but the key is to ask the question. I got a saying, Johnny, I'm sure you've heard it if you spent any time on the site here. If you don't ask, you don't get, and you don't learn. It seems simple, but it's the most important bit of advice I could get to you. So, to answer your question, Johnny tells me that he's a musician, songwriter, but he gravitates to the business side of the music industry. You're not alone in that either, Johnny. There's lots of musicians out there that find it more comfortable and find it maybe a little less risky to work on the music or the business side of music. And what you guys can bring to the equation that somebody like myself can't necessarily bring is you can understand what it's like to be a musician from a musician's point of view. But if you're going to work on the business side of things, you really do need to go out there and be an advocate for the things that you care about. And that means learning how to speak, learning how to talk to people, and learning, more importantly, how to ask that question without talking yourself out of why you shouldn't do it. You know, here's the two scenarios that happen when you ask a question, John. You either get yes or you get no. The maybes are people just being a wimp and don't want to give you the yes or the no. So push for a yes or no. Be up to speed on what you're talking about, Johnny. Be an expert on the things that you are interested in. People are intimidated always. You know, people don't think I'm intimidated, but every time I get up to speak, every time I get in front of a crowd, you might find it hard to believe, but I'm a little scared shitless myself. And what I've learned to do over the years is to just do it and accept the fact that it's either going to work out or it's not. And neither one of those scenarios is going to kill you. So I love the fact that you're interested in the business side of things. I think you can bring a lot to the equation with your perspective as a musician. But I'll just tell you a little story, a golfing story. There was a great golfer by the name of Ken Venturi. You feel free to Google him. He was a big-time golfer. He also became a big-time sports announcer, and he had a horribly crippling stuttering problem when he was young. And he overcame it by just keep putting himself at risk. He kept putting himself into the place where he had to articulate himself. So not only was he a terrific golfer, he became one of the greatest sports announcers in the golf world ever. And that requires not only thinking, but speaking and doing it in a way that's compelling and comforting for people. So you're not alone in that problem. Everybody goes through it to some degree, but you know what? Just work through it, man. Don't talk yourself out of it. Remember, you don't ask, you don't get. So get out there, start asking, start doing, Johnny Flood. And I'm going to see if I can do a little better job talking next time. But have fun out there and make something happen, my friend.